Hello and welcome back to another episode of Internal Rambles. This is your girl Rochelle. If you are new, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for tuning back in. Internal Rambles, my normal episodes releases every Thursdays, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My bonus content, which could include my reality show recaps, the male perspective with GL, my unconventional book club, etc. There is no set schedule for that. Today, this is a bonus content. This is my reality show recap. I am currently reviewing Married at First Sight Nashville and also Ready to Love Miami. Before I get into my reality show recaps, please allow me to do some podcast programming updates super fast and super quick. So, please check out the latest installment of The Male Perspective with GO that was released last Thursday. We are talking about our top 5 dead or alive hip hop artists, also the situation with John Morant, and as we are getting older, how do we maintain friendships? Or are we maintaining friendships? Please check that out. Thank you, GO, again for continuing to show up for my podcast and coming on here for me. I appreciate it. Now listen, if you are not new here, you would know that I have an unconventional book club, Read with Rochelle. We were supposed to be discussing the book of Jose. But as I say, life be life, and life lifed for me last week. And something popped up. Some situations happened. I was not able to get that episode out on March 16th. And so I will discuss, that is the plan currently today as I'm recording this. We will be discussing the Book of Jose, the memoir of Fat Joe, next Thursday. That date is that March 24th? Let me confirm that. Nope, that is March 23rd. So next Thursday, I should be able to get that Read with Rochelle discussing the Book of Jose out to you all. Again, apologies, but you can't predict life. I was all ready to go to record and get that out to y'all, but was not able to do it. And I want to make sure that, I'm intentional when I do certain things. I can't just go straight off the dome with certain podcast episodes. Yeah, I can, but with a book review, got to be a bit more intentional with that. So March 23rd, that is what I plan to be able to have recorded and done my due diligence with that episode and get that out to you all. So March 23rd should be when that episode releases. Okay. So that is it. I think that's all that I had to do in regards to any programming updates. Let's get into the reality show recap, the current episodes of Married at First Sight Nashville and Ready to Love Miami. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to start with Married at First Sight Nashville. And I have been saying this the last few episodes. Are y'all tired of me saying this? These episodes are really kind of like no bueno. I'm not really enjoying this season. Not everything has to be gloom and like doom, but it's just kind of like blah. I don't know. Are you not entertained? No, I'm not. And I'm going to get to this. I hope internal rambles. I lose my train of thought all the time. I hope I can get to this at the end of the episode. So this is literally like I'm saying this to y'all, but it's a note to myself. But yeah, I'd be watching this like I'm watching it for myself, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm reviewing this, but I'm not going to stop reviewing this season. But I'm like, I don't know. Married at First Sight has been the most lucrative. I've said this kind of, that this is the one that people tune into, but I'm like, I don't know. Am I going to continue to, I don't know. There's so many reality shows I do enjoy, but this season, it just, okay. let's get into the couples. Here's the thing. The challenges too. It's like I got a review and I got a lot going on. I'm okay, and but I got a lot going on. I don't got much to say. I be trying to like write stuff down. I be forgetting couples. I be like, okay. So, anyways, let's get into these couples. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, let's talk about it. Kirsten and before I get into this, I feel like I've been saying the same things about some of these couples too. There has not been much progress. I think that just to get ahead, one of the experts comes in the next episode and is gonna push them along because they need it. Okay, anyways, Kirsten and Shaquille. So I don't really, and if you've noticed, I don't go through like everything that happens in the episode. I just go couple to couple where they are. Kirsten and Shaquille. Kirsten just won't open up to Shaquille. Shaquille tired. He getting tired. He frustrated. He like, girl, this is not your normal dating situation. You got 87-mile thick walls up. What do I got to do? Do I got to do some cartwheels? Do I got to, Diddy Bob, do the, Harlem Shake? Do I got to do some magic tricks? What I got to do to get you to just let me in and get to know who the heck Kirsten is? Shaquille is tired. Yeah, if he had hair, he's bald, he would be losing it or graying or, She says to him, and I'm all over the place with this because I'm tired. I can't deal with Kirsten anymore. I'm sorry. That she feels like there's a communication issue. Do she not know she part of the issue? She don't communicate. She can communicate to the other couples, but she's not communicating what is it, like what's gonna help. He don't know you, girl. What's gonna help him, or what's going to help you to break down some of these barriers? He don't know you. Okay. She says to him, because he works a lot and he knows this, well, you're not around, and this has been happening for multiple episodes, for me to really open up and get to know you. But when he is around, you're not opening up for him to get to know you. So what we doing here? What he doing? At the end, they all get together. It's their, I didn't mention this, I'm sorry. It's their 1 month anniversary. So they all do the reminiscing. Oh, when we got married. Oh, let's see the photo album. Okay. At the end, all the couples get together. And so, they're like, hey, Kirsten, Shaquille, where are you guys at? How you feeling? So Kirsten is like, well, I feel like there's a little bit of attraction. There's a little bit of something here. And Shaquille's like, no, I feel like there's a lot something here. So they're not on the same page. So when they get back, he's like, I wish you would have communicated that you feel like there's only a little bit. Like, I feel like there's something significant here. And you're like, nah, it's a slither. And that's where she's like, well, we just need to communicate more. Shaquille is tired. He's tired. Girl. Child, he about to pack his bags and go. I mean, I'm being exaggerated. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but Shaquille is tired of Kirsten and her mess. They remind me of that couple, and I keep forgetting their name, and they struggled too, and it was the woman that was very guarded. They're still together though, but it's painful to watch. Because while she is saying there's a communication issue, she's not communicating what she needs. You are a part of the problem, Kirsten. Okay. I gotta move on because they stress me. They stress my nerves. Okay. Clint and Gina seem to be on... Oh, I'm moving on. I'm sorry. Clint and Gina seem to be on a good path. Them hurdles they had in the beginning, they seem to be doing, I'm not saying that they are, going to write off in the sunset, but they're doing much better than... Because it was looking like they were heading to a divorce. But they are enjoying each other's company. They're trying new events and, they're really putting in that work to get to know each other. So that's really positive to see, because where they initially were on the honeymoon to where they are currently is progression. So it's looking up for Clint and Gina. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about them. It's really a positive situation for them currently. Nicole and Chris, I don't have much to say about them. They still are doing well. The only thing is that when Nicole and Chris were looking back at their wedding videos, Nicole was very critical. She was just like, oh, I hate my hair, I hate my makeup, I was so ugly, ooh. And Chris was like, oh my God, like this girl is so negative, it's such a turn off. I don't know if I can deal with how negative she is. Like, it really makes me look at her differently. And like, she literally told you she has body dysmorphia disorder. And as a therapist, I'm like, this is probably what people deal with constantly. But she literally told you that she sees herself in a whole totally different way. No matter how anyone else sees her, she will always look at herself in a negative way. Buckle up, buddy. This is what you're in for. It's not like gloom and doom, but she will always, there will always be some negative way that she has to push through it, and she can, but there will always initially be this negative thought. And he's gonna have to get used to it and just be supportive, and she's gonna have to work through it. But I'm like, she literally told you this is what she does. So I'm just like, you're gonna have to buckle up and put your big boy pants on, buddy, because that's not gonna. If she's truly diagnosed with that, which I'm sure she is, if she says she is, that this is what she endures on a constant basis. So I don't know, whatever. Like, ultimately, they still seem to be on a good path. I saved this couple for last because Eris is just not my favorite. So Eris is still talking about how he's not attracted to, he's telling everybody and their grandmama, anyone who will listen, how he's not attracted to Jasmine. And at their month anniversary, Jasmine's like, listen, I'm frustrated, I'm not happy, this is not what I wanted. And so Eris says that he's gonna, reset. I'm gonna try to refocus and just, get myself together so that we can start moving positively. And one of the things that he says is that he doesn't want to her during the month anniversary, he doesn't want to do the horizontal boogie before decision day, because he wants to just grow that intimacy without that connection. Let's focus on us really getting to know each other, because everything is prior in his past relationships has been about sex. Let's just get to know each other and grow those emotions first. But then he says elsewhere, I think probably in his one-to-one diary thing, is that the reason why he says that is because he doesn't want her to get too emotionally connected. Like, he's like, oh, if we have sex, she may get too emotionally connected to me, and I don't want that. Like, Eris is just... And I'm not saying there may be a slither of truth to that, but it's just like, bruh, get yourself to... Like, he really does not want her, for whatever reason. And I'm just looking at him like, yeah. And so one of the married women, I think it was Nicole, was like, Eris needs to treat Jasmine like a wife and not like a friend. Like, he needs to get it together. She didn't say that part, but... And it's like, bruh, what is wrong with you? Like... If he never sees her as a wife... She was so right, because if he never sees her as a wife, he will never treat her like a wife. And that I don't think he sees her as his wife. And he does not treat her like his wife. even though he is married to her. That's what I gotta say. So, I mean, honestly, Gina and Clint are on a positive path. Chris and Nicole, they're doing okay. Eris and Jasmine, please run. And honestly, Shaquille and Kirsten, I honestly kind of feel like, I don't want to say Shaquille run. I would say if Kirsten don't start putting in that work, Shaquille, you may need to, I don't know. I would just say, not Shaquille run, I would just say, Kirsten, put in that effort, please, and give this a true chance. Do more, do better. And that's my recap of Married at First Sight in Nashville. Let's get into Ready to Love Miami, okay? Okay. Alrighty, so in this episode of Ready to Love Miami, nephew Tommy sends the daters, the singles, off to a little getaway, a little retreat for them all to get together and be away and stay off and be alone off in I don't know if it was a cabin, I don't know what it was, but so they can just kind of have some alone time and mingle and just intertwine and be all in one little home. So here's the thing I didn't understand. Last week a woman went home, and this week a woman was up again. And I'm like, are we not doing one man and then one woman? I didn't understand that. Why are we doing back-to-back women? But that this ain't my show. But I thought that was really, really odd. Nonetheless, one woman again was up for elimination. So I'm just going to kind of sort of go through how the show went and let y'all know about this episode of Ready to Love Miami. I got my notes. Let's go through it. So at the beginning of the episode, they're at the home or the cabin or wherever they are. This is in Miami. Are there cabins? I don't know. And Tony and Lyndon, who both are feeling Morgan, they play a game of pool to decide whose bed is Morgan gonna sleep in. And Morgan's like, oh Lord, what are y'all doing? And Tony wins. And this whole retreat, Tony and Lyndon are fighting for Morgan's love. Okay, this is a whole hot mess, okay? With Tony and Lyndon, but we're gonna get all into it. Tony wins. So Tony wins. Morgan, sleep in my bed. Hey, I won the pool game. Later on, I don't know if this might have been lunch. Tony sits down. Okay, And so Morgan goes over, Tony's eating, and so Morgan sits next to Tony, okay. And so then Lyndon, he's like, all right, there's a seat open. Let me go sit next to my boo, Morgan. Morgan doesn't say anything. I mean, what is she to say? So Tony gets frustrated, and he's like, oh, there goes Morgan's shadow, Lyndon. And it's like, I mean, what was Morgan supposed to do, A? But also, if Lyndon is feeling Morgan, that's where he's supposed to sit. He's supposed to sit next to, there was an open seat. He's supposed to sit next to his boo. So then Tony gets all frustrated. He starts kind of cutting up, to Morgan, like, oh, you got your shadow sitting next to you while you got, and Morgan's like, I don't have, Lyndon just sat down. What am I supposed to do? And so they go off and they're fussing and not fighting, but they're fussing, and Tony's like, you got your shadow, he's sitting next to you, da-da-da. And Morgan's like, yo, you all right? I can't do nothing about where Lyndon sits, but the point of the matter is that when I chose my seat, I sat next to you. I didn't sit next to anyone. So Tony basically was just being like, oh, whatever, He was just going at Morgan, and she was like, why are you going at me? I did nothing wrong. I sat next to, are you getting, I could have sat next to anyone, but I sat next to you. Lyndon is doing whatever, I can't control Lyndon. Lyndon does whatever. I don't know if she wanted to be if he wanted, I don't know if he wanted her to be like, yo, Linda, don't sit next to me. Like, that's petty. That's dumb. But also, he was just being really jealous. And she was like, I can't deal with this. Like, you're being dramatic. I'm going to go. Like, and he's like, I'm not worried about Lyndon. You were worried about Lyndon. You definitely were worried about Lyndon. So, moving on from Tony and his foolishness, Cynthia sits down with Audrey, who is one of her connections, and she just talks with him because she says that she likes him, but she's concerned about his like flashiness and that, you know, he puts on a good show, etc. But she's concerned, you know, is there more? And he says to her, like, you know, he does have depth, he does have goals, he wants to do a lot for the community, etc., etc. So her other connection is Anthony. She feels like, you know, she has had deep conversations with both, but she's connected a little bit deeper with Anthony. She doesn't tell Audrey that. That's an aside in her diary, but I think it helped to kind of get to know Audrey a little bit more, but I think she still has some apprehensions about Audrey. So the big drama of the show was at dinner with all of the singles and Lyndon and Tony, because they've been getting into it about Morgan. So Lyndon and Tony starts talking, blah, blah, blah. And so Tony, I don't know I can't remember like what sets Tony off. It was something. And so Tony asked Lyndon, and he was like, Lyndon, while you asking all of these questions, how do you feel about the fact that Morgan be kissing all up on me and you have yet to have a kiss by Morgan? And so Lyndon's like, yo, I'm fine, you know, but, you know, since we're asking questions, how do you feel about the fact that you said to me that if Marcia was still here, you would take Marcia and you would let me have Morgan? And when I tell you, my jaw was like, drop to the floor. And everybody was just, the whole table during this whole interaction between Linda and Morgan, people were trying to stop it. Like, yo, y'all stop. Yo, bro, do this. Yo, someone was like objection. Like, they were all like trying to stop them from going back and forth. And Morgan was just sitting there kind of like mortified, and understandably so. Like, she obviously didn't know any of this, like, in regards to what he said about Marcia. And Tony was like, yeah, I did say that. So he didn't even deny the fact that he said that if Marcia was still in the show, he would have chose Marcia, not Morgan. So after that, like, it was like, oh, dinner's over, you know. Right? Like, where else do you go from there? So afterwards, Tony and Morgan talk alone in their room or whoever's room, and Tony's like, listen, you know, sometimes when men are going through something or they're talking, you know, we say things that may not be the real thing, but we, you know, we have conversations, and, you know, but at the end of the day, you are my number one. And she was like, ciao. If you know, I was having a conversation with Cynthia. She was saying, you know, pay attention to what someone says when they're mad, because a lot of times that be the truth. Or something like that, she said. Like, yeah, like, no matter what when you, like, people's word really be their bond. Like, when they say something, especially at the end of the day, when you say something, especially when someone's not around, and then you admit to it, no, that was your true feelings. Like, you said that, yo, you could have her. He didn't have to say, at no point of time did he have to say, yo, you could have her. No, Marcia must have been the top one, but now since she's gone, oh no, he's gunning in for, at the end of the day, he's jealous. Lyndon, I think, probably is a little bit younger. He's a little threatened by, you know, the fact that he's usually probably the top dog, the top god, you know. And he's like, yo, why is he still in the picture? Why am I? He's probably upset with Morgan that Lyndon is still somewhere in the picture, that she has not let him go. So it's probably a dig at Morgan, and also to kind of get at Lyndon. And it blew up in his face. Morgan wasn't trying to hear Tony, and she was like, you know what, you could leave. And he was like, oh, I'm going to leave. And she was like, yeah, you can leave. You know, I got some stuff to think about. You know? Okay. There was a point in the show where Jeffrey and Audrey had a little moment. They were kissing. I don't like Jeffrey. I mean, I don't. She's in between Andre and Mark Anthony. I really honestly don't think Andre or Mark Anthony is a good fit for her. I just said something in my head. I'm not going to say it. It's totally not right. And I'm not even going to say it. I'm not a fan of Jeffrey. There's something about her. It's something about her. But anyways, like I said, for some reason, the women are up for elimination for the second week in a row. And the bottom two were Susu and Mercedes. As been stated before, because Susu, this is not her first time in the bottom. They just feel like she is not putting her effort at anyone, and she's just not engaged with anyone other really than Blake. And then Mercedes, some of the men, like, she does have a connection with Mark Anthony, and then maybe a couple, but they really kind of have a homegirl vibe, a friend vibe with her too. The episode ended with, we don't know who's going home. It was a cliffhanger. Okay. So that was it. That is my reality show recap. Now, I remember what I wanted to leave to the end. I have been mentioning that I wanted to review Put a Ring on It. I did not know it was starting so early. The first episode released on March 17th. I did watch it. I'm not reviewing or recapping this. But honestly, with how slow Married at First Sight is, I'm not switching it out. I'm just saying, I'm kind of like, man. That first episode, this is a show recommendation. This is the fourth season, I think, third or fourth season. I think it's the fourth season of Put a Ring on It. It's on OWN TV. I like it. It's a new doctor. There's usually a doctor. You know, I don't know how I feel about her. I don't feel negatively about her. It's just I'm used to it's always been the same doctor previously, the last seasons. But the show itself, I do like. And the first episode was pretty cool. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I like this show. I remember why I like this show. I wish I could review it because the first episode was cool, but in seeing some of it, I was like, yeah, this is why I like this show. I want to review it. I cannot review it. I'm hoping I will review it at some point. I gotta let one show go. But I was like, man, one day I'm gonna get to review this show. It's so meaty. It's so good. It's so good. I will get to it. So, my little show recommendation. It has started. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I do hope, no shade to the new doctor. You know, I don't be liking change. I'm like, where the old. Interesting approach she has. I will say she's a little bit combative early on. Whereas I feel like the doctor before, she kind of let the couples get their feet in, and then she would be like, now I know, like she would get to know them a little bit more before she started calling them out, which I think is the better approach. I'm like, you already, as a therapist, I understand why you get to know someone. I don't know how you, okay. But nonetheless, no tea, no shade. I'm just saying that was interesting. But yeah, Put a Ring on It. Check it out. You may like it. I love that show. The previous season, I can't, new doctor, I ain't gonna hold you. But yeah, so that is it. That's it. Listen, check out my previous reality show recaps. Subscribe to me wherever you get your podcast content. Holla at your girl on YouTube. Search for me, Internal Rambles. All one word, no space. My YouTube channel will pop up. Let me know. Married at First Sight. What do you think about these couples? Ready to Love. Do you see any couples that are may are gonna make it? What do you think about what's happening? Anything that I do, you can always comment on. I release my episodes on YouTube. Subscribe to me wherever you get your podcast content so that you get my episodes immediately. And again, Read with Rochelle, Book of Jose, Fat Joe's memoir. March 23rd is where I'm trying to get that episode out. That's the plan. Should happen. Fingers, toes crossed. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take care of yourself. And if you are able to, take care of each other. And until next episode, this is your girl, Rochelle.